Hornby and Denman Islands are located in the Salish Sea on the southern coast of British Columbia, Canada. The waters around these islands are home to one of the world's largest herring spawns.
The herring spawn is the most exciting time, and all through the end of February the eagles are gathering and the sea lions are congregating at the end of the island, and you can start hearing them through the fog of the winter, and all the birds that migrate start to assemble. Like, this is an important bird area, and hundreds of thousands of birds come here and await the herring themselves and their eggs as sort of essential food source so that they can fuel going north and having babies and all that it takes to carry on the next generation. And so too the sea lions. And with the sea lions, along come the orca, the kind that hunt sea lions and seals. So it's a pretty serious situation out there. And, you know, otters are running along the beach and mink are out there scavenging. And I realize that without it, the whole marine ecosystem for the Strait of Georgia would founder, because it relies on this one herring run each year to stoke and fuel the whole marine food web.
The herring spawn around Denman and Hornby is the last major one remaining on the BC coast. The other 5 have collapsed due to overfishing.
It isn't the case that the management of herring has taken into account the varying ocean conditions that we humans have created on top of whatever happens cyclically, and also that there's a huge shift in the number of predators, the humpbacks, the sea lions. We get a second chance with them, and all of that is being fueled by herring.
When you see the biomass of herring around Hornby this time of year, I think everybody realizes, or should, we need to preserve that in order to make sure that these top predators can continue to thrive in these waters.
We lived in Banfield over on the west coast, and those spawns were just unbelievable. It was vital. It was a vital food source for all these animals. And we were there for 15, 20 years, and they just disappeared. They were overfished. We knew the DFO was allowing the huge amounts of seine boats to come in and overfish them, and they're gone.
90% of that herring biomass is ground up into fish food for the fish farm industry. So it's called a roe fishery, but 90% of the fish themselves are actually ground up into fish food, which we think is a travesty.
You know, there's over 9,000 jobs just in the riding of Courtenay Alberni that rely on tourism, and the reason people come here is they come here because obviously the natural beauty, but to see the wildlife and the species that rely on this healthy ecosystem, that everything is interconnected, as we know, and so people come here to enjoy this, and the last thing they want to do is see this decimated. By taking a risk of fishing a herring industry with low economic return for coastal communities, especially the local communities that are adjacent, where there isn't significant amount of jobs and benefit, it's really putting thousands and thousands of jobs at risk. It just doesn't make sense. Those forage fish are key to us, protecting our endangered Chinook species, and of course the southern resident killer whales.
All it is destroying one of our most precious resources. The fishers used to earn $5,000 a ton for their fish. Now they earn as little as $300 a ton. So it's time we did something about it, and it's time we stopped clear-cutting the ocean. And it's up to us to see that this happens.
Department of Fisheries and Oceans, the federal government, they have the legal responsibility for managing fish in our oceans. And they manage it under their management plan for herring, under what they call precautionary principles and ecosystem-based management and risk aversion. And we talk to people, we talk to ex-fishermen, we talk to DFO scientists themselves, and they don't even believe their own story. This is what amazes me. They don't believe their own story. We talked to this ex-doctor, PhD scientist that worked for the government for 30 years. He said 8 times in the interview, listening to him, we just don't know. We just don't know. Well, how can you have a precautionary principle based on you just don't know? So if you just don't know, in our world, you don't do it.
The vast majority of the people on Hornby and Denman Islands and in the north central Salish Sea want to see this herring roe fishery stopped or severely reduced. There's no good reason to continue killing this crucial species and risking the destruction of our ocean ecosystem.
The best approach going forward is to look at what's truly unique about Hornby and Denman and the waters around it. So the 2 things that stand out, one is that you've got an incredible abundance of wildlife that comes here. Every year it comes here because of the herring. And that's the second reason, is that the herring that spawn here are dependable. They've always come here, and they always will if given a chance.
Once again, human interruption in nature's chain is taking its toll. Scientists suspect that a contributing factor endangering the southern orcas may be disappearing Chinook salmon, which are also endangered. The whales need 30 salmon a day. 80% of the Chinook salmon diet is herring. Save the herring, save the Chinook salmon, and we may save the orcas.